Pocono Raceway, affectionately dubbed the Tricky Triangle, was built in 1968. It's a 2.5-mile triangle oval with 3 corners of varying banking. Turn 1 being 14 degrees, turn 2 is 8, turn 3 is 6 degrees. Richard Petty won the inaugural Pocono 500 in 1974. 1987 saw Tim Richmond win the last race of his NASCAR career here in the spring. 1988 of the next season, Bobby Allison suffered career-ending injuries. In 1992, Davey Allison flipped down Long Pond Straightaway in a spectacular rollover wreck. 2002 saw Steve Park and Dale Jr. entangle and cause a 25-minute red flag in the same area that Davey Allison's wreck was in. Pocono overall is a very technical track. Tire management's going to be key here. You're going to find that you're going to be shifting a little bit as well. For this video, I decided to go back to 20-lap runs, and you'll understand why as we get into this. But let's go ahead. We're going to get in the car. I'm going to show you around the track, and we'll walk you through how to get around here. Alright guys, so just like the last video, we're going to go ahead and do a little walk around Pocono here before we really get into it. So that way you guys can see braking points. We can kind of just go over a few things as I get around the track here. First things first, before we roll out, just like with Richmond, pit road exit, obviously crucial. So we're going to cover a couple things here right off the bat. Just roll out onto the track here. So pit road exit is defined by the dark pavement here. Obviously you can see where the blue cone is up here on the left. Stay on the dark blacktop. That's going to be key, because if you go to the right any further than where I'm sitting right now, you'll get a black flag when exiting the pits. And that's not going to be good, especially if this is a green flag run like I suspect that the race will be, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. So keep it down low. If it is green flag, make sure you're paying attention to cars off your right side. Make sure you get your rear view mirror on, all that stuff, because where you're going to come to is where those guys are going to start sweeping into, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But you don't want to get hit from behind coming off a pit road. So we're going to go ahead and just pull over onto the track so we can shorten this up a little bit, because Pocono is quite a long track. Now, coming down into turn 1, make sure you're to this outside wall. You really should be on the outside the whole way down the front stretch unless you're passing. I like to use the number 1 Pepsi sign as my brake point. So right about here, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this thing slowed down so we can kind of trail it off in. And after we go ahead and hit that braking point, you're going to start just kind of, I don't want to say lazily, but almost listfully, and you're putting in very little wheel input down into that second lane, starting to curve into the bottom lane. Once we get to the bottom lane, try to late apex it, but don't hit that white rumble strip. You hit that thing and the car is going to over rotate, and you're not going to want that. And then we're going to be hard on the gas, bringing it back out to the wall to come down Long Pond here. And you're gonna be flat out down Long Pond, and there's gonna be a couple of things I'm gonna cover once we get into my 2 laps that I'll do for you guys. But you're gonna be hard on the gas coming down Long Pond, and now you can see the signs here kind of hidden. So they're just tucked away behind the trees. I like to use, and I'm gonna have to back up to show you. There's this nice black line or tar line across the track here. I like to use that as a good break point. Point of last return, though, is the number 1 sign that's right here in the upper corner. Somewhere in there. I've heard guys say, well, you can rush it down to the safer barrier right here and hit the brakes and get it to rotate in. I don't think that's sustainable long run. So keep that in mind. I think if you use the 1, you're going to be okay. So we're going to brake, and I just kind of follow this dark section or dark path down through. Try not to get too close to the bottom here through 2, and then you're going to start to let it drift right back up to get the speed back up, bring it out to the wall again. We're going to come down the short chute here, and then right about here I'll start to get on the brakes, point of last return being the 1. And this corner is a little tricky because it's going to give you the option that you think you can just hammer it home right here, and you kind of got to hang out into this second lane, and then really late apex turn 3, again, don't hit the rumble strip, and then hard back on the gas and bring it out to the wall. So then you're going to be hard back down. We're going to bring it down into 1 and do it all over again. But I'll go ahead, I'll get around here, we'll bring this to where I'm coming out of 3. We'll give you guys 2 laps at speed so you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so we're coming out of turn 3 here. Notice I am in 3rd gear. This is a very wonky setup. You will be busy shifting. We're going to bring this thing down into turn 1 here. Full song 4th gear. Pile the brake on hard. Start making your corner. Downshift right about here. Start feeding that gas back in. Back up on throttle. We're hard out of the corner. Do our down or upshift right here. Oh, and of course we're not going to shift. Hard on the brakes here coming into 2. Another quick downshift. Hard on the gas out. We're going to leave it in 3rd gear this whole short stretch. Brakes hard on at 1. Starting to let it rotate. Waiting to get in the gas. Start feeding that back in. Hard on the gas. I like to hold the upshift until just after the start-finish line. We're going to come back down into 1 again. We'll see if we can't make this long stretch on the back a little bit better. Hard on the brakes. Pull our downshift. Hard on the gas coming out. And upshift. We hit it that time. And then we're going to be hard on the brakes right here. Coming down into 2. Downshift in the middle. Hard back on the gas coming out. Again, leave it in 3rd. We're going to hit the brake right about now at the 1 marker. Use a little bit of brake to help it steer. Back into the gas. Hard on the gas all of a sudden. Let her float back out. Upshift at the flag stand. And that's a lap, or that's 2 laps around Pocono. Okay, so now that we've gotten around here, I've shown you guys how to get around the track, where my brake points are at, and things of that nature. We're going to go ahead and break into what I found testing-wise. And quite frankly, I only ran a 12-to-1 here. We'll get into why once we get further into it, but I didn't really see the need to run a 14-to-1. On the 12-to-1 set, I went 59.346 was my fastest lap. It did seem to get faster as the run progressed, so I don't know if that was just me driving, if that changed, or what we were really seeing there, but it definitely seemed as the run went on, the car got looser. I think my lap started to go a little bit faster. Part of it might be because the track tempos are about 68 to 70 degrees. So that may play into why it took a little bit longer for that car to settle in and turn on faster laps. The setup overall feels a little bouncy in the wheel, but it's manageable. I don't see anything, super crazy as far as that goes. There wasn't really a need for me to adjust brake bias on a set of 4. Now that being said, I don't know about on a set of 2. You may wind up tweaking that a little bit to maybe try to go to, as you'll find out as we get further into this. Throttle management will also be key out of the corners to keep that right rear on the car. As we saw, 95% on the right front tire, 91% on the right rear. So I know part of that's from sliding the car. I can tell you that. This track is very tricky to not get it to slide because the corners are so flat. So keep that in mind as you're running around here. Now the tire temps overall were fairly cool, like 202, 204. I didn't have anything super wild. Again, I think because the track temp is so cold. That being said, you can probably put right side tires on this and shorten your pit stop, because I think you're going to see a lot of green flag run here. I just don't see the caution vests like what we usually see during, you know, a hot track session. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to see a lot of green flag races. I don't really foresee a lot of caution vests. So like I said, because of this, I didn't bother using a 14-to-1 because I just wasn't seeing the wear out of the right front tire, which is the reason that we tend to go to that 14-to-1 or make it feel a little more comfortable. I didn't see a need to even bother testing it because it did get through 3 just fine, and I didn't really want to delay how it turns out of 2, because going 14-to-1, we're going to wind up slowing that steering down, and I just didn't want to take away from that. So on that note, guys, that's how I got around here at Pocono, what I found that worked. I hope the braking points help you guys, especially getting around this track, because it does, as they say, it is the tricky triangle, and it is tough. Definitely be on the lookout for guys checking up earlier than you or later than you. If this video's been helping, please let me know down in the comments. You know, I really enjoy making these things for you guys, and it's kind of helped me learn some new things about the way that the car drives around here as well. You know, even at close to 4,000 iRating, I'm still learning stuff, guys. If you have anything you'd like to see in the video, please let me know. I know I've had a couple of guys in the ICW Discord tell me, hey, you know, you should add this, add that. I've done that on these last 2 videos, and I hope that helps you guys a lot with making your way around the track, making sure that you can get the lap times that you want to and be able to race this car and have a lot of fun in it, because I sure as heck do. So on that note, guys, hopefully you guys have a good race at Pocono this week, and we'll catch you at the next one.